All right, let's talk a little Ohio State recruiting because the Buckeyes still have some big names on the board. Currently sitting with the number 6 class, but they've been surging lately, adding QB Luke Fahey. Steve, who are you focused on when it comes to Buckeye recruiting?
Well, Josh, I think that list obviously starts with Braylon Womack, number one safety in the country. Ohio State led in the spring going into official visits, but he had great trips to Auburn, Florida, and Texas A&M, along with his return to Ohio State, where he really fit in with the players, loves the scheme defensively, loves the way that they develop their players, strength and conditioning wise. And I think that if Ohio State, at the end of the day, this is a decision late in August, if they're close on the NIL front, I think they'll be tough to beat, but those other three programs are very exciting for various reasons as well. So we'll see what happens over the next 5 weeks of talks and dotting I's and crossing T's with Braylon Womack.
Steve, how about at the point of attack? Both sides of the line of scrimmage are always a priority for Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a smash mouth football team that's had great players on the offensive and defensive line year in and year out. And they got a good class up front on both sides of the ball, but they're in on a couple more targets. On the offensive line, starts with 5-star Darius Gray. He's going to put out a top 5 soon. So Ohio State hoping to make that cut and go from there. LSU and South Carolina have been the favorites for him, but he's had good experiences at Ohio State. JB Shabazz is a top 100 recruit from the Carolinas that's also going to decide soon. And Ohio State just made his top 3 with South Carolina and Tennessee. A source thinks the Buckeyes are the biggest threat to the Gamecocks. So we'll see what happens with JB Shabazz. And then on the defensive line, 2 blue chippers that Ohio State can't be discounted for. KJ Ford, he's trending Florida right now on the Rivals prediction machine, but Ohio State's still very much in play. Things really picked up during his official visit over June 20th. Enjoyed time around Larry Johnson, just the way Ohio State has historically developed defensive ends and defensive linemen under Coach Johnson. It's a situation that's exciting. And then Deuce Gerald's one of the most disruptive point of attack players in the country. Also someone that's been very keen on Ohio State throughout his process. The Buckeyes, we'll see where these NIL conversations go with both of those guys because they certainly check a lot of boxes for them on the field. Ohio State wants another linebacker. Elijah Littlejohn committed to Penn State. He's a name to know, a name to continue having on your radar. And then one more receiver, Jacraden Guilford. We've talked about him a lot on the Whip Around lately. I thought he was going to commit to Ohio State recently, but then Ole Miss, the other program in the mix, gave him a lot to think about, if you know what I mean, in addition to their offense, in addition to the excitement of playing wide receiver there. Then it looked like he was going to commit to Ole Miss, but then he just decided to push his date. I expect him to come off the board by July 21st now, and Ohio State and Ole Miss are in a back and forth. He likes a lot of things about both programs, but I wouldn't be surprised. My Rivals predictions on Ole Miss right now if it's back on Ohio State by the time he decides.